Good morning everyone, this is Dorothea from Airpost Creations 2021 and I'm happy I made it to say good morning for a change. I like to say I'm sorry for yesterday's video and for the kind of way I presented the video. I have trouble pronouncing the Indian special terminology for Buddhism, for Taoism and so forth, because, well, it's quite a long time since I took it in school and I forgot how the teachers pronounced the words. So please excuse, I try my best to do it in a way that everybody can follow. And I hope that today I read it a little bit better, so there is more clarity and you can enjoy it more, okay? So today I have 5 more deities or Buddhas of the Tibetan ancestry that I like to introduce here, okay? So let's start with the number 5, which is here. Number 5 is considered, or no, it's wrong, number 6. We had 5 yesterday, so number 6 today is Tara. Tara is also called female deity, and she is in Tibetan called Dolma, and she is also a female bodhisattva. There are 5 variations of Tara. One is green, one is white, one is blue, one is red, and one is yellow. She is considered a great protector that guards people against the 8 major dangers in life, which are pride, delusion, anger, jealousy, wrong views, greed, desire, and doubt. The Taras, their different Taras are mainly distinguished by how their foot is depicted or placed on the artwork. The white Tara, she sits in meditation posture. The green Tara's right foot rests on a small lotus flower. Also, the white Tara has an open eye of compassion on her forehead. On her palms and on her foot, on the soles, are also the eye of compassion. Also, the day is represented by the full-blown white lotus, and the night is represented by the closed blue lotus flower. Tara's hands are both with their palms outwards, pointing in opposite direction. The right hand points down and the left hand points up. Number 7 is Padam Samhava, called Guru Rinpoche. I spell the Rinpoche because I really don't know if my pronunciation is right. It's R-I-N-P-O-C-H-E. He is also called Lotus Born. Guru Rinpoche is seen as the founder of the oldest school of Tibetan Buddhism, the Nyingma school, but he is also important for other schools as well. He comes in 8 different forms of depiction, but one is fairly easy to recognize. there he is sitting, wearing a special hat with upturned ear flaps and a spring at the top. As hardly anyone else in Tibetan in iconography or art, Guru Rinpoche is pictured with a beard. That's apparently not often the case in Tibetan culture, as I learned too. I didn't know it. So this Guru Rinpoche, he is a special man because he's wearing a beard. In his left hand, he holds a blood-filled skull cup, and in the right hand, the Varya or thunderbolt. With his left elbow, he holds a magic wand, which tip is usually a flaming trident. Now we come to the number 8. It's Polden Lamo. Polden, P-A-L-D-E-N, and Lamo, L-H-A-M-O. Also called female guardian. She is an old Tibetan female guardian deity. She is the female deity of the 8 Dharmapalas. She is worshipped in particular by the yellow-hat monks of the Gelugpa school of Tibetan Buddhism, and she is the patron saint of Lhasa and also the patron saint of Dalai Lama. Palden Lamo is the wrathful manifestation of terror. She is pictured riding on a mule through a sea of blood. She is black and blue and said to have sagging breasts, flaming eyebrows, and a mustache. So written here. I guess her depiction is not exactly feminine, right? But it's written so, so I'm reading it. In her hand she carries a cup made of her child's skull, who was the product of an incestuous act. Now that such a one is the patron saint of Dalai Lama is quite surprising, isn't it? Well, to me it is. She is also surrounded by the loops of a string made with 15 severed heads. In her navel we can see a bright disc. Number 9 is Tsongkhapa, T-S-O-N-G-K-H-A-P-A. Tsongkhapa, founder of religion. He is a documented historical figure and the founder of the last of the 4 main schools of Tibetan Buddhism called Gelug, G-A-L-U-G. Tsongkhapa is very easily recognized because he wears the yellow hat reserved for the Gelugpa, and his hands make the gesture of Dharma Chakra Mudra, which is the turning wheel of doctrine. And on his right and left sides we can find, respectively, the sword, which is a symbol of wisdom, and a book which is supported by 2 lotus flowers. Lastly comes the number 10, which is Varapani, V-A-J-R-A-P-A-N-I, Varapani, Bodhisattva of power, called Bodhisattva of power. He is one of the 3 main protective deities, wearing a special hat with upturned ear flaps and a spring at the top. As hardly anyone else in Tibetan iconography of art, oh well, I'm sorry, I already read it. Bodhisattva of power, he is one of the three main protective deities. Here continues, surrounding the Buddha, and he is often represented with the other two, namely compassion and wisdom. Let me read it once more because I got a little bit messed up. Number 10, Varapani, also Bodhisattva of power. He is one of the three main protective deities surrounding the Buddha, and he is often represented with the other two, namely compassion and wisdom. Now it's right. Varapani is usually depicted as a wrathful Dharmapala. He wears a crown and a tiger skin and has a lasso in his left hand with which he captures and ties the adversaries of Buddhism. In his right hand he carries the Tibetan thunderbolt, and he is surrounded by flames. All these Buddhas and deities we can find in Tibet, Bhutan and Nepal, in their temples and in monasteries. Tibetan Buddhism is known as a religion in exile, forced from its homeland when Tibet was conquered by the Chinese government. The best known face of Tibetan Buddhism is Dalai Lama, who now lives in exile in India because he fled the Chinese occupation in 1959. Tibetan Buddhism combines the essential teachings of Mahayana Buddhism with tantric and shamanic and material from an ancient Tibetan religion called Bon, B-O-N. Buddhism became a major presence in Tibet towards the end of the 8th century CE. It was brought from India at the invitation of the Tibetan king Trisong Detsen, T-R-I-S-O-N-G, and then the last name D-E-T-S-E-N, Trisong Detsen, who invited two Buddhist masters to Tibet and had important Buddhist texts translated into the Tibetan language. Special features of Tibetan Buddhism are 1. The status of the teacher called Lama. 2. Preoccupation with the relationship between life and death. 3. Important role of rituals and initiations. 4. Rich visual symbolism. 5. Element of earlier Tibetan faith. And 6. Mantras and meditation practice. Tibetan Buddhism is strong both in monastic communities and among lay people. A Lama is a teacher, and he is often a senior member of a monastic community, like a monk or a nun, but lay people or married people can also be lamas. To prepare for death, Tibetan Buddhists use visualization of meditations and other exercises to imagine death, to prepare themselves for it. Death is seen as an inevitable part of the journey through life. One of the great texts of Tibetan Buddhism is a book called Tibetan Book of the Dead, which is a big seller in the West. The state between death and rebirth is called Bardo, B-A-R-D-O, Bardo. This state is regarded to last 49 days. The experience of a person during Bardo depends on their spiritual training during life. An untrained person is thought to be confused as to where they are and may not realize that they have died. That's the belief of this Buddhism, okay? In traditional Tibetan Buddhism, the dead person is helped through Bardo, state between death and rebirth, by a lama who reads prayers and performs rituals from the Book of Dead, advising the deceased to break free from their attachments in their past life and their dead body. There is a new Buddhist movement. There is a new Buddhist movement called New Kadampa tradition. I spell it New and then Kadampa, K-A-D-A-M-P-A tradition. And this new called Buddhist tradition is also known as short for NKT. NKT. This new movement of the Buddhism, who was involved in a public dispute with the Dalai Lama, which began in 1996. The problem centers on the emphasis placed on the Dharma protector Dorje Shakten by Kelsang. Dorje, D-O-R-J-E, Shakten, S-H-U-G-D-E-N, by Kelsang, K-E-L-S-A-N-G. Kelsang teaches that the deity Dorje Shakten is the Dharma protector for the new Kadampa tradition and is a manifestation of the Buddha. The spirit Dorje Shakten is described by some as a wrathful, sword-waving deity with big ears and menacing fangs, or as a warrior figure riding a snow lion through a sea of boiling blood. This new Kadampa tradition worships Dorje Shakten as its protector deity, but the Dalai Lama apparently has rejected it and has spoken out against it and against the whole practice. He has described Shakten as an evil force. Dalai Lama has described Shakten as an evil force and argued that other lamas before him had also placed restrictions on the worship of this spirit. After the Lama made these statements public in 1996, some followers of Dorje Shakten protested against Dalai Lama in London, accusing him of suppressing their religious freedom. Members of the new Kadampa tradition continue to worship Dorje Shakten. I thought that was kind of interesting, because now there come new movements in, more modern ones, or the new people like to also set their own stamp in history, but apparently Dalai Lama rejected it. He doesn't like it if they merge from old traditions and just start new movements. Okay, so maybe that's better to understand why Dalai Lama said what he said. Although some Buddhists and non-Buddhists regard this new movement NKT as outside the mainstream tradition, the organization has continued to grow. Based on Lama Tsongkhapa's influential works, Geshe Kelsang has written 20 books in English, and these books have in turn been translated in other languages, so that they can also grow better when the books are translated right away in all different languages. Then such new movements can spread much easier and quicker. The proceeds of these books are fed into the NKT International Temples Project, a Buddhist charity building temples for world peace. They set up study programs to encourage a Western audience to understand the Buddha's teachings. NKT members hope to build a Buddhist temple in every major town and city in the world. That sounds a little bit like the Muslims when they move into countries and build their holy churches. So now the Buddhist NKT movement likes to do the same. They like to go into the world, and in every city and every town they like to build their Buddhist temples. The project is known as the International Temples Project for World Peace. One temple is already in England, one is in New York, and work is underway on a third temple near Sao Paulo, Brazil, as well as Melbourne, Australia. So, that was the end of Tibetan Buddhism. I hope today that helped a little bit, that I spelled the words that I cannot pronounce, because of course I also like everyone who visits my channel that they can follow what I'm doing, and then they can also research what I'm doing, if they agree with it, or if they want to find out if I'm just making things up or if they are true, which is your right. You should pick up on it and check me out, okay? That's why I spelled it, and maybe in the future when things are too hard for me to pronounce, maybe that's a good idea to spell it, then people don't get so ignored, then people don't get so angry or disturbed by me doing things the way I'm doing it, okay? And I'm still learning, and I hope I get better over time. I try my hardest, but it's kind of, it's more difficult than I thought. I thought I'd just give the things out into the world that I learned in school, but it's not that easy, because I have about 10 big folders of religious studies and philosophy. So I have to read the stuff, go through it, and find out what I like to present in my channel, because I cannot present the whole thing. Of course, that would be tiring and I couldn't do it. So I have to filter out things and filter out what I think is the most important in the history of each religion, or when I later on go into philosophy, I will have the same problems, because I have to filter out the main points. I cannot tell you the whole books of each philosopher because that would take years. So that's the hard part for me, to filter out the pertinent information, to give you an idea about the things that I'm doing in my channel. It's not to make you study it, it's just to give you a taste. My goal is to go out into the world and give you all the taste of philosophy and religion, different religions, and the spirituality of the different religions, because I think it's quite interesting when we learn it, and then we also become better world citizens, I think, if we respect other people's religious movements, and we don't have to agree with what they are doing, but I think it's good to hear it, to understand what other countries do, and to respect their way of thinking and looking at things. Then I think the world is much better, because if we close ourselves on other people's important things in their life, then there's often a missing understanding for them as well. I think a lot of hatred today in different parts of the world comes from that people don't even try to understand the other side, and they don't want to hear it. They are always right, the others are always wrong. And I like to change that a little bit and give you a taste, and maybe you like it, maybe you get a book, read about it yourself. That's the thing I like to do. I don't want to make you a believer, because we all have the right to believe whatever we want to believe, but I like to give you an option to see maybe things differently, and maybe even like what you hear, and maybe you start reading Confucius, or maybe you like Taoism, or maybe Monday comes Zen Buddhism. So maybe after I do that, you say, oh, I like it. The Zen people are quite interesting, and then you get a book and you like to read it yourself. That's the thing I try to do here, okay? So today, and that's another thing, I also like to bring people to live healthier and start choosing. Choosing is mainly vegetable choosing. A little bit an apple here or a pear, but the juice is 80% vegetables and 20% if a fruit, if you like an apple or a pear, add into your juice so that it is not so, well, stringent or tastes just like only vegetables. When you add an apple or a pear into your juice, then that changes the profile of the juice and makes it a little bit, for some people, better, because it has a little sweetness to it. But I think that's a good way, especially today when we have Corona going on, to upgrade your immune system and to give your body all the help the body needs to fight off sickness. That's why I believe in choosing. So today I made another juice, this one. It is cucumber, a green apple, and spinach. Okay, so let me take a sip. It's very good. The apple gives it a little sweetness to it, so that the spinach and the cucumber is not so one-sided. Okay, so I'm happy that today I did what I set out to do in a timely manner. So I'm getting better, apparently. I'm getting a better routine. I hope I keep it up in the future, because otherwise I'm frustrated, and the frustration goes back to my own behavior. So I don't want that. I want to be better. Okay? So I hope on Monday I do it in a timely manner too. I intend to do it in a Monday morning, so that by 12 o'clock it's up uploaded and you can listen to Zen Buddhism. Okay? So I'm looking forward to it. I wish you all a wonderful Sunday. And oh, I forgot. I decided to every month wish the people who have birthday in that month happy birthday. I'm late with January because it's almost over, but I still want to say happy birthday to everyone who has a birthday in January. Okay? It's still time, a few days. So if you already had it, I hope you had a wonderful day, that you celebrated your day, that people you like were with you, and things like that. Okay? So happy birthday to all the January people. And mine is coming up pretty soon in February. Yes, I'm a Aquarius. And this is also why I like to have my channel go in the right direction, because now we have the age of Aquarius, and I hope that Aquarians bring more love back to this world, more love, more understanding, more compassion, more empathy, because I think we Aquarians are pretty compassionate people. And we are also people who see that without love, nothing really in the world goes into the right direction. Love is such a power that I like to spread love and make this world a little bit better with my channel. I hope I succeed. Okay? So have a wonderful Sunday. Thank you for tuning in, for the ones who did. And I see you on Monday. Thank you.